Hello and welcome to the Sterling Podcast. I'm Julia Williams, your host, and today I'm joined by an incredible guest, Rebecca Widdowson, who has built her career on the way she deals with people, her professionalism, and also her purpose. Rebecca is the managing partner of HWH Law Solicitors, but her career has extended way beyond law. She's also the proud chair of governors for Tudor Grange, Worcester, also Tudor Grange Purdyswell. She's a trustee at Rowland's Trust and she's the vice president for Worcester Rugby Football Club and also the disciplinary officer. So she does loads. Welcome, Rebecca. How are you?
I'm really good. Thank you very much.
So, Rebecca, you do a lot of things, and you give so much. But I want you to start from the beginning. So tell me,
Sure.
what first drew you to a career in law?
Okay, so I actually wanted to be a physiotherapist.
Oh,
I really, really love sport. I really love activity. I played everything and anything, and I thought it'd fit in really well with my background in sport. But back in the day, because I'm a little bit ancient now, you couldn't actually go to university and study physiotherapy. And I really wanted to go to university. So it kind of led me into other areas. I was also doing four A levels, two sciences and two arts A levels. And so I went to a girls' grammar school, which is now closed. Said, you can't go into science and you can't go into art because you've got these mixture of A levels. And I said, well, what about the law? Well, where's that come from? And I said, well, what about the law? The law loves art, it loves science. And actually, I had a week's work experience at a law firm in the town in Worcester. It's gone now. I went to the Crown Court, went to the Magistrates Court. I met family clients, and I absolutely loved it. And I came back to school and said, "That's it. That's it. I've found what I want to do. It's interesting. It's people based, but it's academic. It's tough." And it went from there. So when anybody says work experience doesn't work, is wrong, because work experience can flick a light in anybody that they never thought it would be for them. And there I am I'm off to university to read law. And that's
wow.
really where it came from.
That's amazing. And you are right, work experience can often open up a whole world of opportunity that you probably haven't thought about before.
Absolutely.
Did you always see yourself leading a law firm though, or did that evolve over time?
I don't think I initially thought when I joined a law firm to do my training contract that I'd become a leader, one of the owners. But I suspect underneath it all, subconsciously, yeah, I must have done, because it wasn't very long before I thought, this is fun. I'm enjoying this. I think I can do a good job. I think I can improve things. I mean, everybody loves a 23 or 24-year-old coming into their business going, I can do it better. I'm sure I was an absolute royal pain in the what's it, but over time, yeah, and probably because I was pushy. If I had an idea, I wouldn't hide it. I mean, I was quite happy to take, the criticism if it wasn't a great idea, but I wouldn't go, well, I'm not going to say anything because I'm not sure I'm right. I would go, I think we can do this better. I think we can deliver a better service or be more efficient internally. And so I think over time that developed into leading the business. But had you asked me when I joined when I was 23, I probably would have said no. But by the time I was sort of into my late 20s, I was thinking, maybe. And then, yeah, it happens. So
You are today.
there I am today.
So look, you're the managing partner, but you're also the compliance officer and you're also the money laundering compliance officer. That's a lot of responsibility. Like, what does your typical day look like?
Yeah, it is a lot of responsibility, and it's multifaceted as well. So that can be tricky. So it's usually early. I mean, I do like an early start. I'm usually in the office between 7:15, but that hour, 45 minutes before the office is open at 9 o'clock is a great time to actually achieve quite a lot. And I have fee earning work, so I'm actually delivering services to clients as well. And I would say that takes up a good, 3 or 4 hours of my day. And then there will be everything in between. So, for example, I might have a query in relation to a compliance aspect. Can we act for this client? Are there issues about their funds or where they're coming from? Slightly complex situation around, and maybe another firm of solicitors or a transaction we're dealing with. So I will be the go-to person for somebody to come and say, well, what do you think about this? Answer also technical points. So, we've got people who are developing their careers who haven't been, not quite as old as I am, come in and ask for technical support. And then quite a lot of client-based support. So, clients who are either a bit tricky or emotional or require a little bit of, or our staff require a little guidance in how to support them. Then I try to finish about 4 in the afternoon,
Okay.
which allows me then to go and do the stuff that you've got to do to keep sane. So the running or the tennis or whatever it happens to be. But then I will tend to then check in on my emails later on. So the day is wide and varied. I always have a plan for my day. My day starts with dealing with the post. So we still have post still comes in. It's all in paper. And I like to clear my desk of the day's post. It's one of the first jobs after the office is open. And then it's emails and phone calls and so busy.
Well, I should imagine that no 2 days are the same.
No, they're not.
What?
They're not, and that makes it interesting.
Well, definitely. What's your biggest challenges running a law firm when it comes to, say, business growth, though, and also compliance?
Yeah, it is difficult because the issues for many of the people who work with members of the public, and that predominantly is what we do all day, every day, is that people want things done, and they want them done reasonably quickly. And to roll back and say, hold on, we've got to do all this compliance work in order to make sure that we are complying with the law and delivering the services in the right way is really difficult. So we've got fee earners who are keen to do more and more work, which earns more and more fees and allows us to build up the base of our business, employ more people, can sometimes be pinned back by the compliance aspect of their job. So those two things have to be managed quite carefully. And I suppose that's a frustrating thing for me in many respects, because a large chunk of everybody's jobs in this business, without exception, is around compliance. So may it be compliance with the SRA rules, with the rules around anti-money laundering, and that can stunt growth. So we're having to look at processes. We're looking more and more at AI and what that can do to support our business, and streamline processes in terms of identifying clients and so on, in order for us to focus on the bit that we do really well, which is delivering the client services. And what the client wants at the end of the day, they want you to pursue their matter and get their matter done, and they don't really mind or care about the compliance. And I understand that, because that's what they're focused on.
Of course.
So we're having to look at very different ways of working in order to sustain growth and to move forwards.
With the field that you're working in, it's, well, historically very male dominated. So from a female perspective, what's your journey been like for you?
Yeah, it's been interesting because it was very male dominated. And it felt a bit like a closed shop. It felt that we weren't very well represented within the industry and within the sector. And where we weren't really owners or leaders. So there were women solicitors. They see predominantly pushed into family law, or possibly property. They weren't necessarily being particularly visible at court. So there weren't many criminal solicitors, weren't many female judges. And I suppose my journey has been just a bit of pushing, and being loud and a bit,
No.
a bit, yeah, not, a bit like, I'm not actually going to sit in the corner and not have a view. I will have a view, and I will make sure that you listen to it, and you can ignore it or do whatever you like, but I'm not going away. And the guys I worked with, who were partners here and were retired, were actually pretty open and very keen to see me develop. So I was very lucky in that respect. I don't think everybody's journey, every female lawyer's journey has been the same as that, because I had very welcoming business partners. But there were scenarios where there were presumption was you were the secretary. What are you? Well, a cup of coffee? Like, hang on a minute. I'm your instructing solicitor. I'm the one that's giving you the work, sunshine. So, and there have been moments like that. And then you really just have to have your backbone ready to go and just stand up for yourself. And that's not easy. It's not easy. So I would say it has been a challenge, but not, I don't think, as challenging as some women have faced in the same line of work as me.
Would you say, has there been any defining moments with you being a female in terms of handling a situation or decision?
You see, I don't see it from that point of view. I think there may be others that look in on me and say, oh, she's made that decision because she's a woman. But I actually don't feel like that. I feel that the decisions that I've made in respect to the business, where the business has grown, how we've made strategic decisions, have been good business decisions. If not because I'm a woman, just because it makes perfectly good sense. Sanity check some of those decisions with the people I work with, obviously. Am I off the wall? Is this completely wrong? But I don't feel that it's based around me being a woman. I think if it's a good business decision, it's a good business decision.
Which is fair enough, really.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for, say, young women who perhaps want to step into leadership in law or even another profession? Do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, I think one thing I learned really early on was you're never going to be the cleverest person in the room, but if you are the most prepared, it is a really good way of making out that you are the best person or the cleverest person in the room. Because the cleverest person in the room doesn't necessarily know, and this is particularly the case in the work that I used to do, the litigation I used to act for clients in, doesn't know your case as well as you do. So be the most prepared. So in any business meeting that you go into, be the one who understands it inside and out. Right. It's a really, really strong female trait, that preparedness, that conscientiousness, that attention to detail. That gets you a really long way. Clients really love it as well, because it shows that you care about them and what they're having to deal with. And I don't think that necessarily just, as I say, applies to the law. Go to a business meeting, go to a board meeting, go to a governor's meeting, and be prepared, and that stands you in really good stead. And I learned that in this career, in this job, with some of my male colleagues actually, being the one who knew more about something only because you'd read the papers, you understood what the issues were, and you come in and you're ready to go. And also, don't hide in a meeting. If you've got a view,
so
make sure you express it and express yourself.
That's really good sound advice, really. In terms of the business side of it, the compliance side, normally when you are in a business, you have compliance. It's almost looked at as a tick box exercise. But you seem to approach it from a value-driven mindset. What's your philosophy, really, when it comes to culture of integrity within your business?
Yeah, I think it's really easy to look at compliance as that tick box exercise. Well, I've done it, it didn't really matter. And I wholly disagree with that. Compliance around what we deliver is for good reason. It's predominantly to protect our clients. It's to make sure that we understand what we're doing, who we're doing it for, where the money has come from, and making sure that we are delivering the service that is as risk-free to us as a business, but also as risk-free or in the best interest of the client. And if you flip it on its head and sell it to the client that this is for your benefit, this is making sure that we're delivering the right service for you, understanding what your needs are, then actually they understand compliance is much more focused on them. I mean, the general person in the street would say, well, compliance law firms, what's that? But actually explaining what it means from a client focus means that they get it, but also it means that my staff are also delivering it to them. So they're delivering the service that the client deserves, so they get better experience, and my staff can think, I've done a really good job here, I've delivered a great service, I've complied with all the rules and made sure that it's been a client focus all along. So yeah, I think it's really important to look at it that way.
Excellent. Now I want to focus on you, because I know that you do a hell of a lot when it comes to the community and you're deeply involved. So let's just go through some of the things you do. So, from your work in education, you're the chair of governors at 2 Tudor Grange academies. You're also you've got a role with Rowlands Trust. You're a trustee, and you're the vice president and disciplinary officer when it comes to Worcester Rugby Football Club. Now, that's a lot of giving back. What motivates you to stay so connected to the community alongside a clearly demanding career?
One, I think it's absolutely fascinating. I think I didn't know anything really about education other than my children were educated. I was educated, didn't understand what went on in the back room, didn't understand teaching processes or anything like that. So stepping into that arena has been a massive learning curve. It's interesting. You can see it from somebody else's point of view. You can see the issues that schools have to address on a daily basis. Nothing of which I'd ever come across before, which, so for me and my own personal development, if I'm being really selfish, it brought that to me. I've been passionate about rugby for donkeys, since I played back in the day. So that was coming back to something that I'd enjoyed at university and played, and I'd coached and then had the children, so then came back to that. So that was, and then fulfilling some, from your own personal experience of your family involved in sport. If there are not volunteers to run clubs, clubs don't run, and that is a loss to our children because they're very embedded in sport and they lose all those opportunities, but also for a wide variety of adults. And one of the greatest things that I've seen in recent times is mixed ability rugby, which is massively inclusive. People who never necessarily think about playing rugby coming back. But if you don't have volunteers to run those clubs, those opportunities don't exist for your close family members or the wider community. Self-development wise, it's been an amazing journey. And I feel terribly, terribly privileged to be in a position that I can do it. Not everybody is in that position. So the fact that I'm able to do that and give a little bit back to the community is I hope is, I hope it gives it something back to them.
And I'm sure it does. Have you any of those experiences outside of your working life? Have you brought back into your professional life?
I suppose it's the wider variety of people and situations, if anything. So I think what's really impressive about going in and seeing behind the scenes in education is the level at which teaching staff and support staff have to deal with very many issues that the children face and our young people face these days. And then just taking a tiny little step back to realise that not everybody's having a good day, not necessarily having everybody's feeling it that day, or there's something going on in their personal life that's making that day a bit more challenging. It's not easy because the demands of what we do here are very difficult as well. But seeing that from being a little fly on the wall, watching what they have to deal with, and I'm thinking, I think we could probably learn a little bit from that in the business, just step back.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a personal life. It's not
So
always
true.
possible to leave it at home, and not everybody's having a great day.
Yeah.
And I think the teaching staff that I've witnessed at both schools who have, and I'm sure that's across the board, I don't doubt that at all, managing children who are in meltdown or are being neglected or, having a really bad day, the strategies they bring, the thoughts they bring, and the kindness they bring. So, yeah, I think I'm not saying I've been terribly successful at it. I'm just saying that I'd like to think that I'm just a little bit more, okay, step back.
You've built, a successful career. You give a lot back to the community, and yet you've still got a family and you've still got you. How do you
Yeah,
manage to balance it all?
I don't, if I'm honest. I don't. I think there are periods of, I mean, like we all know, don't we? There are peaks and troughs and everything. So there are
Yeah.
times where things are going along nicely and everybody sees me and I see them and things are great. And then there are times where you're not seeing them as much as you'd like, or something's happened, or yeah. And I think it was Mother's Day a few years ago. My husband actually put a photograph of me on one of the walls in the house and said, "Boys, this is your mother," in case you didn't know what she looked like. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm not sure that we all
But
do our best, don't we? We try and do our best, and every day is a different day.
it,
Yeah.
it really is. It really is. When you think about success now,
Mm.
how has that changed over the years?
Well, I think probably in my, early part of my career, so in my early 20s, before I was married or had any children, I thought success meant, you're earning a good salary, not just, an average salary, a good salary, and you're driving a nice car and you live in a nice house. And I think I, fell into that trap that that's what success looks like. But actually, over the years, that's absolute rubbish. Success is about personal fulfillment, I think. If you are doing a job that fulfills you, and that means different things to different people. I mean,
Yeah.
I get fulfilled because if I do a good job for a client says, "Thanks, really, you've really helped me through a difficult time. You've sorted it out. You've been efficient. You've been effective. Thank you." And that is my fulfillment. Now, other people will feel their fulfillment as something different, but being fulfilled, because it is a long time you come and work. It is a long, tough career. It takes a lot of your emotional energy. It takes a lot of your time. And if you're not enjoying it, you're not being fulfilled by it, then I don't think that is very successful. Obviously, the other stuff that comes with it by being successful, and it is a nice standard of living and all of that sort of stuff, that's absolutely great. But I think one has to follow the other. And that's also why I do the other stuff that I do, because that experience of personal fulfillment is what keeps you going, keeps you
Yeah.
motivated. I want to do some more of this. This make it's not just daft, but it's actually, well, this makes me feel good. I'm delivering something great to clients, but I feel happy about it myself. So I think that's how I've changed over the years from what is just a pure monetary transaction to basically, no, this is about personal fulfillment and living what living as good a life as you can, really.
When you look ahead to the future, whether it's professionally or personally, what excites you most?
Um, Professionally is to see the next generation within my business come through and then kick me out and go, "Thanks very much. You've trained us beautifully, and now we're ready to take over." That excites me, not because I want to retire, because I don't, but because I've done one part of my job well. I've trained the next generation
Yeah.
in this business to take over from me. And that means it preserves the business going forward, it preserves the jobs, and that is an amazing legacy to leave behind. Personally, doing the stuff that I do outside of work and seeing those successes. So, obviously the great Ofsted reports that we've had recently, seeing the successes on the rugby pitch. I'm excited for those next journeys, those next steps, whatever they may be, in terms of strategic developments, and seeing an adult women's team back at the rugby club, both at the Warriors and both at WRFC. That's exciting, and that's in touching distance again now, which is really fabulous. So yeah, those are the things I think make me excited.
It's been so inspiring talking to you today because, we've talked about the professional side, we've talked about the personal side. But I think for me, what really stands out is you as a person, wanting to give back and talking about, we talked earlier about, it for you, it's not just about the money side of it, but it's about the legacy, which I really think has come out really strongly today. So thank you so, so much, Rebecca. It's been wonderful to talk to you today. And if any of our listeners want to find out more about HWH law, there'll be a link below. But thank you. It's been fantastic talking to you today.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me. I've enjoyed it.
It's all right.